Today we're taking a look at another part of Final Cut Pro. And today we're going to try to tackle titles. We're putting together a basic slideshow in my classes, and we've got pictures in. We know how to transform the pictures, import the media, so we're doing quite well. Now we're starting to organize some of that stuff. And of course, for a slideshow, one of the things that's very important is titles. Now, Final Cut has a load of titles that's built into it. If we take a look over on the side here, we've got the T for titles. We can go ahead and click on that. Creates the drop down of everything that's on here. Now these are the pre-made titles, and the nice thing, if you're new to Final Cut, the nice thing about these titles is that they're a little bit more flexible. Like, you get an idea of what you've got here, but you can adjust all of these variables. So the title does not have to be centered. You can move the location of it, the color of it, and a bunch of other variables. So we'll take a look at that. Let's start with just something really basic here, which is the centered title. And what I'm going to do is just click and drag. So I'm going to grab that title, I'm going to drag it out here, drop it onto whatever clip I want. And then I've got this title showing up there. I like to center the playhead in the middle of the title so I can see what it looks like on the actual clip. And then I can go ahead and double click on the title itself and go ahead and start changing whatever I need it to say. Same thing with the subtitle, double click on that, and now I can go ahead. This is from our 10-day film challenge that we were working on. All right, and put that in. Now, you can see this little circle that's in here on each of the titles, and you can see the snap line that I'm getting for the middle, and that's pretty helpful to line things up that way. And it would be nice if we had lower thirds as well. There is one other thing that will help you with titles a little bit, which is the title safe area. So up in the upper right hand corner of your video viewer here, you can say show title or action safe zones. And this will help you from getting too close to the edges, where on some formats of large screen or flat screen TVs you might lose some of these titles, or if you're working in broadcast TV as well. So that's just the beginning of getting the text in there and moving it around to wherever you want. All right, now a few more variables that'll be useful to you. We can go over to our little sliders button here, and that's going to bring up the inspector. Okay, once I bring that up with the text already enabled here, you're going to see the text now as an option up here. With the text option selected, I can go ahead and choose a bunch of different kinds of text. So whichever one I have active at the time, it will go ahead and add that on there. So if I click over to Red Hawk Media and then I go to, let's say, condensed, we can go ahead and change the different types or styles of the text here. On top of that, of course, we can change the actual fonts. So whatever fonts you have loaded into your machine are available. And it's pretty intuitive, pretty easy to use. Now, the next thing that will be of relevance to you is your line size. Whatever line you have active, you can go ahead and change the line size by dragging the slider. And that gives you a few options. You can use the alignment tools. Okay, I usually just move it around. And then line spacing, you're going to see that's going to create spaces between lines. So if I had a second line that was in here, if I had hit enter and then I typed in something else, you can see that now I'll be able to adjust that line spacing between them, and it's only after I hit enter that it adjusts that. So you can see this one's a little bit closer than the previous one when I hit enter. Let's try that typing again. That was horrible spelling, Mr. Hall. Alright, so you get the idea of what we can do there. Let's see, what else can we show you here? We've got also at this point, I'm going to get rid of something else. We have kerning, and then we have baseline. Don't use those a whole lot. All caps, so you can choose how you want that broken up. So it'll take your caps out of the equation, keep them bigger, almost like drop caps. Okay, if you put it up to 100%, they're all exactly the same size. And now we get down to some of the actual looks for color, drop shadow, outline, all of that stuff. So the face color, you can go ahead and choose that. And now at this point, I can click my eyedropper. I could grab a color out of here. So now that's matching up. Okay, if I go down a little bit further, and you got a blur option and you got opacity, so if you want to see through it a little bit, if it's a bigger font, then I can add an outline. And of course I can adjust the color of the outline. And let's go ahead and take that and just slide that up. So now I've got a black outline, and then I have a width of the outline, so like the stroke weight. So I can put that up. And then the glow, which I don't use all that much, but you can use that. Let's go ahead and get a brighter color on that. Shift it over to here. Let's pick something right in the middle. And now it's going to create a glow that's on it once I select this here. Now the radius of the glow, if you put that up, it's going to be a bigger glow. And then, again, the color. Let's get that adjusted. Okay. So we got that. Now, last thing, drop shadow. Okay, we can go to the drop shadow, show that, scroll down here, and we got a typical black drop shadow. We can increase the distance so that starts to show up here. And now we've got a pretty customized text that's thrown in there. Alright, and again I can check to make sure that these are centered and that they all match up, and that's looking pretty good. So that's just one of the titles here, and this is a title that's thrown right onto the clip above it here. Now if you have a situation where you want to put a title between clips, you can use a custom generator. Okay, so I can start with a custom generator like a black background here, just plain black, or any of the other textures that they've got created for you here. There's a bunch of them that are kind of thrown in there. There's some that are animated. You got the curtain call one, drifting of bubbles, almost like a particular. This is another particular. It's just lower opacity in that, more random. You got a grunge texture. You can make it whatever you want. But let's go ahead and grab just a custom black background, drop that in between these two clips, and then same thing. Now I've got the text that's over the top of that. Okay, I just slid it over here. Now if I want to customize my custom background, I can select that, and then I can choose my colors here, and I can change those parameters so that they show up. If I wanted to tweak them very specifically here, I could go about that. Alright, so that should give you plenty to work with for titles. It's kind of a quick run through on them, but I think the titles are pretty self-explanatory. It's just knowing where everything is to begin with. That's another episode of Red Hawk Media. Thanks for joining us. Bye.